Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Experience Kills. I am your host, Ben, and with me today, as always, is Rob.
Hello. I'm always here. I never leave. I'm just constantly on the Discord call, just waiting.
To be honest, you're my podcast co-host, aren't you?
Exactly.
You're my other guy. You know, I couldn't do this without you. But
how unusually kind of you.
No, I'm being nice today. Yeah.
Yeah.
because we have a special guest. We have a gentleman who is no stranger to podcasting, no stranger to gaming. Yeah, gentleman, an old man.
He's rolling out all the manners today.
No stranger to podcasting, a big board game fan, a big gamer. We have Matt with us today.
Hello. Long time listener, first time caller.
Gotta get it in. No, it's really good to have you. I know we know you from various avenues through work and through gaming and stuff like that. So I wanted to get you on, and we're going to change the format up a bit today because it would be weird to do news and what we've been watching and stuff without talking to Matt a bit about himself, so everybody understands who he is and where he's coming from. So we're gonna get straight into that and sort of introduce Matt. But what I want to know is, Matt, I really want to get into you about how you balance gaming and being a dad and, work, obviously a really busy life and schedule, and yet you're still kind of like pretty much a hardcore gamer. So I just want to find out a bit about you. Tell me a bit about your history. Where do we want to start? Let's go with favorite ever game, and you have to pick one.
I was so scared that you were going to hold me down to just going with one, because I think a lot of people, they go for nostalgic game. This is the one that I was brought up on, but actually if you go back and play whatever game you chose, it's probably not going to hold up very well. So I think I'm going to have to go with probably Heroes of the Storm.
Ooh.
As my favourite game. Yeah.
Well,
for multiple
surprising.
reasons.
Okay.
Please illuminate
because
us of those reasons.
Oh, okay. So, as Ben alluded to, I am a parent of two boisterous boys, and HOTS gives me everything that I kind of like in life. It gives me a competitive edge, because it's a MOBA, for those who don't know. And it gives me the ability to drop into a game, play it for 40 minutes or so, and then come out of it. And if I do want to have then a longer haul, I can. So if I know that I've got an hour tops to game, I'll jump into HOTS and play that for a bit and then jump back out again. And I've played a lot of it.
I thought they canned HOTS, or was that just the competitive side of it?
They've canned the esports of HOTS. So it's really hard to pick a favourite game for me, because HOTS is probably where I've spent in the last 10 years most of my hours. So if you were going purely by that, then it has to be my favourite game, because that's the one that I play the most. But there are so many that I've had great experiences with. So one of your questions was, gaming as a parent, roguelites have been an absolute saviour for me, because they're all about drop-in, drop-out sessions. So Hades, Enter the Gungeon, all those type of games are great, because I can have a failed or successful run in 20, 30, 40 minutes. I can pick and choose how long I'm going to play it for, have a successful fill of a game, and then come out of it. The days of me being able to play Fallout or Skyrim, those massive RPGs where it takes 40 minutes just to sort out your inventory, they're kind of long gone now. That's a lie. They're creeping back in as the kids are getting older. So for me, it's been a blend. But if I was going to pick favourite, it will have to have been HOTS, purely the amount of hours and satisfaction that I've had out of it over the last... I don't know how long I've been playing it now. Yeah, 6-7 years probably.
Wow. I mean, that's really interesting, though, isn't it? What you're talking about is how you fit gaming in around your life. You're going for roguelites that are run-based, or MOBAs, which are therefore, one and done, a couple of games if you want, but it could just be one competitive game. But, but meaty, not like a Call of Duty TDM match, which lasts like 5 minutes. A MOBA match is going to last 20 minutes, half an hour. So that's it. That's really interesting. That's how you can get around it. But the counterpoint is that you've said you've avoided like large commitment, story-based RPGs and stuff. Is that where your gaming past lies?
So I guess my gaming past, it's a bit cliche, but actually one of the things you said was, what was the hardware in the past, and I thought about it over the last few days, and actually so many vivid memories of video games came out for me. And I didn't, and I'm glad I'm on here because I didn't really realize how big video gaming means to me. I have very fond memories of probably being 5 years old, sitting in my brother's bedroom playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES. That was my introduction to games. So I think a lot of people can say the same. But then I remember playing Double Dragon and Contra and all these games on the NES, and it just opened up this world to me. It was a healthy obsession because I did play a lot of sports as well. So I think my parents would allow me to game because I was out and about a lot. And it never stopped, never slept. If anything, just always played more of it. More sort of free I could have been as I grow up. So I had NES, I think I then jumped from NES to Sega Saturn, if memory serves. And that was the console that sat in my room. So again, just games on a CD just opened up more stuff, and I had an N64. We played hours and hours and hours of GoldenEye, split screen, and then I got into those bigger games like Ocarina of Time. And actually, one of my favorite games on the N64 was a game called Hybrid Theory, which no one's ever heard of. But that's when I started sitting down and starting a game to completion. It was very rare I would complete a NES game, and actually going back to play those games as an adult, they are really hard. Like, if you've ever played an old Contra game, they are super, super hard.
Yeah.
So when I completed Ocarina of Time and I saw the credits roll, I remember, and I vividly remember the feeling of when that happened. I remember the room I was in. I remember I just played rugby. I remember I had a bath. I remember my knees were stinging a bit. My hands were a little bit grainy. And I remember just completing it. And then I had a PS2 and I got involved in Metal Gear Solid. And I was just playing all these huge, huge games where just everything just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Fallout 3 was a memorable milestone for me playing that game. Just like, here's an apocalyptic world. Go have fun. Just absolutely incredible. So yeah, all these emotions of video gaming came back to me in the last sort of 48 hours as I was thinking about this sort of question and answer.
That's awesome.
Was really cool.
That's really cool. I mean, I've got a couple of follow-ups to that. I'd love to know. So when you were playing all those SNES games, did you ever do the thing I did, which was rent a lot of games? Or were you always a buying family?
Renting came around when we had the Saturn and the N64.
Yeah. So
I'd rent. I remember renting a lot of wrestling games because they were just good for a weekend, particularly if you had a mate round for a sleepover.
Yeah, mate, that's absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgic feelings here, but yeah, you grab a couple of controllers, we'll rent out. We'll go to Choices as it was back then. Rob probably doesn't remember Choices.
I mean, you pronounced Blockbuster wrong.
I was going to say, does Rob even remember Blockbuster? But no, he does.
I'm not that young. Jeez.
So yeah, it was. I did rent. Yeah, quite a fair bit. Most weekends we would rent a game out. I remember renting on the Saturn, which a lot of people link it to PlayStation, which was Tomb Raider. That was out on the Saturn as well, and that was a good console, the Sega Saturn.
I'm trying to remember. It didn't last very long, did it?
No.
I had a Saturn, but it was only I had about a 2-3 year life cycle. It was very, very short. They were already struggling at that point before the Dreamcast. And I think they moved very rapidly into the Dreamcast with the hopes of the whole company, and then that didn't work, did it? I've got a question. So with your kids, are they starting to get into gaming? Are you starting to introduce gaming to them?
Yeah, I was quite lucky, particularly with my eldest. He would sit and watch me play Heroes of the Storm before bed. That was like a ritual of ours. He'd have a bath, he'd sit on my lap and watch me play Heroes of the Storm, and remind me that every time I died, he would say, "Daddy, you're dead." And then
you didn't know, right? You had no idea.
I was looking at the wrong character. I had no idea. I thought I was the best HOTS player ever. It turned out I was just dying all the time. It took him to tell me. And I kind of thought, oh, it's interesting. He just likes to sit and watch me play. And actually, I used to do that a fair bit. Like some of my mates, if they had like the latest single player game, I'd quite happily sit and watch them play. And then the first game both of us got involved in was Rayman Legends. So simple game, but what was really good about that was if the second player died, they would turn into like a bubble that would float around. Mm-hmm. So he would die quite a lot because it's quite a challenging platformer, and he would die and then he would float around and be quite happy doing that, and I would just pop the bubble and get him back in the game whenever he felt like it. And we actually did that to completion, that game, played all the way through. And then it just snowballed from there. We just always picked one game to play, and that was the game we would play right up until we completed. He'd play some of it, I'd play some of it, or it'd be cooperative. So we've done, off the top of my head, Rayman, Guacamelee, if you've ever played that.
Guacamelee really good. Yeah.
Guacamelee, so we've done that together, co-op. We've done a Transformers game, Transformers Devastation, which I really liked because it's in the style of the old cartoons.
Sounds familiar.
It was really cool. I played the majority of that one. But then, as most kids of this day and age, they're into video games, dominant by Minecraft, which has been good, and it's not been so good.
So
it's a bit of a double-edged sword, Minecraft.
So is he playing by himself now as well, or is it still with you?
So he can do the creative mode easily. He picks what he wants. He flies around, builds it at a rapid pace. So very, very skilled at playing the game. Survival, I think, is just boring for him, but he can do it because he watched a lot of YouTube videos. And I actually play Minecraft since COVID and lockdown. Me and a mate, we said, well, once a week we'll play Minecraft, and online we'll chat and just make it. Basically, we'll socialize, and we just so happen to be playing Minecraft. So I got really into it. And there were times where I would ask him questions the day after and go, how do I get one of these? And he would tell me. My 5-year-old would tell me, oh, Daddy, you need to build this, that, and the other, and craft this, or go here and do that. And I was like, wow, just the knowledge that he comes out with. He does play other games, Goat Simulator.
Really a favourite, of course.
So this kind of
This,
the reason I'm going down this. You're talking about the games we grew up on, and I think games for young people now are really different because they're made very specifically for these younger generations. So I'm thinking about Minecraft and Fortnite very specifically. Are they missing out on certain awesome gaming experiences? Because the ones that were transformative to us, you were talking about hitting end credits and having these narrative experiences, they're not really, those kind of games don't seem to be popular as popular with that generation of gamer as they were for us, because they've got these almost very carefully constructed never-ending experiences instead. And I think I got into film, and I'm a massive cross-media fan in general of storytelling. I think because of games, that's what started me down that path. And then in my teenage years, I watched any film I could get hold of as well. And I actually drifted away from games for a while. But I feel like maybe they're not. How do you feel? Obviously, with the kids, you're seeing what they're playing, you're seeing what they're interested in. I'm curious. Do you feel like you think back to your childhood and it's like, it's not quite the same, is it? It's not.
Yeah, it's a really valid point, because we've had moments on the last boss, like this is the last boss, and we finally do it, and we're high-fiving, and I've got a little gallery of a picture of him holding the controller with the credits rolling.
So cool.
And we still do that. So Minecraft is his go-to game with Goat Simulator. And it's great as a parent. It's actually quite good because you got 45 minutes, got half an hour. If you want to play this, go play this and just chill on that for a bit. You don't have to load anything up or anything like that. So that was really good. But we still have a couple of games that we play in the background. Again, there are some games that you go, I'm going to start this, and then your son starts watching it, and you feel bad playing it without them now. So we'll talk about it later, but Subnautica I'm really into, but I can't play that now without him because he likes watching it. And he gets so immersed in the story. I think I'm just very lucky in this respect. And I'm very looking forward to what the future holds in actually really playing a game with him. But we play a lot of fun multiplayer stuff as well. Ultimate Chicken Horse, if you've ever played that. Rob.
It's good.
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
So imagine a very basic platformer. You have to get from point A to point B, but it's a multiplayer. Okay, so it's all on. It's one map, and each round, everyone has to pick an item. It's a random set of items. Could be a wooden plank. Could be a saw on a spinny block, and all this kind of stuff. And you basically put these obstacles in the way. So you still need to get from start to finish, but you're making the level harder for yourself and your opponents. So you don't want to make it too hard, because obviously you won't finish, but you don't want to make it too easy, because if everyone finishes, no one gets any points.
It's clever.
So you have to make sure that they die and you survive.
That is quite clever. I like that.
We play loads of that. But yeah, Ben makes a very valid point that a lot of games these days doesn't have they're not as front and center to complete.
But I also think comparing experiences that we've had as formative gaming experiences to suggest that they could be bigger than the experiences your boys are going to have. His first time when he gets through to survival and his first time killing the Ender Dragon will be something he will remember forever.
Oh yeah,
it's just a different type of formative experience now. And that first time he's the first player on Fortnite, if he plays that, that sort of thing. It's those sorts of formative experiences that will be that Ocarina of Time moment. Granted, Ocarina is a league above Fortnite in quality.
I think,
but it's those sorts of things will just be different.
They will. I think there is something that is fundamentally different, though, Rob. I mean, while they will be memorable in the same way, they're memorable for different reasons, because the games of our youth, when you're talking about these amazing RPGs, it's characters, it's story, it's emotion, it's things that you don't it's not, Minecraft isn't for it, good for its writing, neither is Fortnite, neither of those. It's a different kind of entertainment. I'm not saying it's necessarily worse, and I'm definitely being an old fuddy duddy there, I think, a bit, and being old school with that, but I don't know, man. It's almost like I don't want to see that skill lost. And if you're not going to give those memories to the kids, then when they become the designers, they become the developers, they're not making those narrative games, So are you gonna see that skill, that quality of that being lost and forgotten as we move into the next generations? So that's something us old fuddy duddies have to fight for, because that's so much about what makes games great for me. So I'll always talk about that.
I fell into that trap. At one point, I don't think I ever played a game that you could complete. I was playing Dota, I was playing Call of Duty, I was playing loads of Battlefield. Never saw an end credit for about 2 years of gaming. And then when kids came around, as you two know, my notorious gaming game list. So I created a list of games that went, right, here's 3 or 4 games, different genres, that you can complete. And they are my focus. I don't go outside of that list. So I pick a handful of games, and they're the only games I play until I finish it, and then I'll create a new list.
That's great. I mean, giving yourself that that is the hard part of today, isn't it? With thousands of games on Steam, hundreds of games on the consoles. There's new stuff every single day. I mean, I remember when it was, not that many years ago, where you'd be waiting for the Friday. There's 2 big games out. It's the only 2 that month. And that's you'd go in, you'd wait for the shop to open at 9, you might be even queuing up, and then you go in and get your game, and then you go to school and you get home, and it'd be like, oh my god, I've been waiting to play this all day, and then you'd play the game, and that was gaming. And now it's just choice and selection and variety. I mean, it's good and bad, because it makes it so much harder to find those incredible games, but they generally do filter to the top, don't they? Even if it's an obscure thing. That's the good part of the internet, isn't it? Where people will catch onto it and then start shouting about it, like us, and then that'll float up and more people become aware of it. I certainly love championing those types of games. But okay, so I mean, I'm gonna put you on the spot again, right? So if there's one thing today, you look at gaming and you shake your head. What is it that makes you shake your head? I know Rob's one, so I'm curious as to what your one is.
Okay, I think
I'm going to ask you my one afterwards.
MTX, that's yours, isn't it? You hate your microtransactions. You always go on about it.
Yeah, I guess mine's quite close to that, but it's not. Maybe it's the way that they do microtransactions because of the games that, or particularly with Minecraft, they don't hide it. And I know they could say, well, as a parent, you should let them, you should monitor it and all that lot. But it's very easy for my boy to look at something and go, oh, can I have that? And you have to explain to them, no, that costs money. And then why? And then you can kind of argue the fact, well, why are you giving me a game that isn't necessarily a game? But anyway, I think microtransactions has been talked to death. My biggest bugbear is actually when they put achievements that evolve around microtransactions and online play. So if you want to platinum something or 100% something, some games won't allow you until you do this in the online game. Well, I'm not necessarily going to play online, and I need the players to play it, or I need that situation to happen for me to get that. That really annoys me.
And what if you pick up a game in the bargain bin 2 years after its hype train has finished?
Exactly.
And you play it through, you enjoy the campaign. Oh, half of the achievements are locked behind multiplayer and the servers are off. Well,
yeah. Thanks.
I mean, sure. I just don't care. I've never cared about achievements. Never understood. Yeah, it's fun. I tell you what. Actually, I like achievements when they're constructed well enough to sort of incentivize you to play the game in a way you wouldn't have necessarily done it. And I like that about achievements because it might make you do something or approach something in a different way. But most of them are just so boring, aren't they? They're just, you need to do this 200 times or you need to do this 1,000 times. It's like, look at, we just did Outriders, me and Rob, and their achievements were incredibly uninspired, and it was all about just repeating a task you were already doing, a thing you already did many times.
They are achievements. You achieved a thing. You completed all of the side missions. You have achieved this. Achievement unlocked.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is
a name, no?
Yeah, but it's like there is a skill to good achievement design, right? And it's like you don't see it very often anymore. You really don't. I think, do you know who's to blame? Steam is to blame. Because when it was just achievements on Xbox and trophies on PlayStation, you saw much better design. And now that games are coming out on PC and the achievements on PC don't really carry any weight in Steam, they just seem to throw them out for pretty much turning the game on. It's totally broken the whole design philosophy of achievements. So I think we've got Steam to blame on that one. They used to be great on Xbox. Original Xbox achievements were amazing.
I disagree. I think it's all down to the developer. How much effort they want to put into a system like that. They've got so many other things to put effort into. Having generic achievements lists is something that a gamer almost expects now because it's on basically every platform. They're not going to put a shit ton of time and effort into that when, frame rate drops, bugs, and server issues are going to be bigger touch points than the achievements are a bit naff, aren't they? If that's the criticism of the game, you're scraping the barrel.
They were better on Xbox. Xbox created them. People forget that. It was an Xbox invented
thing. Spider-Man on the PS, not the Miles Morales one, I've not played that, but Spider-Man on the PS4, they did a good job with achievements. So, for example, there were like lots of little challenges. If you've ever played it, there's like lots of little challenges that you can do, and it will say, get a gold in one type of challenge. So it's not get a gold in all the challenges to the point where you're just bored. So it was really, really accessible to platinum the game, but experience the whole game, all the side challenges and all that kind of stuff. And I think they've done well. I only seek achievements if I've done the game and I want more. Typically it's around a roguelike because I can just fire it up and go and try and get that achievement. Whereas a game with a story, you finish it, I will typically just park it then and go, well, I'm done. I'm not going to start the game all over again just to get this achievement.
Yeah. So what in gaming right now, Matt? What are you kind of looking forward to? What excites you about the future of gaming, and what are you like keeping an eye on, or maybe you got a specific game you're looking forward to?
For me, on a parenting level, I'm excited for my youngest to see what games he gets into. Therefore, I would have never have got into Minecraft if it wasn't for my eldest, and now I probably play it more than him. So that's cool. But in terms of like tech, oh man, I don't know. As you said, there's just so much variety out there. I've just dipped my toes into the world of VR. Originally thought it was a gimmick. Thought it was a very good tech demo. But actually, it's become a bit of a treat for me to play that on the weekend. So I'm interested to see how VR evolves into bigger games.
What headset have you got for that?
I got the PlayStation headset because I got it cheap off a friend, which is always a bonus.
Okay.
But because I'm a PS Plus, I had some VR games locked and loaded that I already owned that didn't cost me anything. So I thought, well, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And if I didn't like it or didn't get on with it, I could probably sell it for more than I paid for it. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. But actually now I've spent a small fortune on Beat Saber tracks, and various other bits and pieces of games. So
have you tried Super Hot in VR?
I haven't, but I'm going to complete it. It's all about the list, Rob. So once I've completed a few games off my list, I'll probably buy it and put it on there. Yeah. But because I know exactly how it's going to be, and I know that I'll love it because I've played Super Hot before. It was VR, and I absolutely loved it. What a great concept of a game! But
it makes the original Super Hot look amateur hour in comparison. It's another level in VR. It's the only way that game should be played.
So I remember, for me, it's just anything that gives me that, whoa, that is cool. It doesn't have to be a massive explosion. Could be just a really good, like Super Hot. The game moves when you move. That was new. And when I saw that and played it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And that, wow, this is really cool moment are getting further and further apart because they're not that they're not there. It's because I can't find them. As Ben, you said, it's really hard to find these games.
Yeah, it is. So, it is hard. I agree. I agree about Super Hot. I don't agree with Rob saying it makes the other one look like amateur hour. I think it's very a very additive experience. But yeah, I've completed all of the Super Hot games
in VR.
Yes. I had a PSVR. Remember? It was the game I bought for it was Super Hot. Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah. Well, I don't shit on VR without my experiences in VR because that wouldn't be fair. So I have extensive experience in VR, but I do think it's a takedown and a gimmick. I'm still waiting for it to get beyond that. But there you go. But no, Super Hot. There are standout games. Super Hot is definitely really good. I actually also had a good time with Doom VR as well, which was like Doom 2016 in VR, and they've just brought out Doom 3 in VR, which I would definitely play because that's quite an underrated Doom and it's very scary and that could work really well in VR. Like with all the dark shadows and stuff, I think that could work really well. But no, I'm floating around the idea of a Quest 2 at the moment. I might pick one up because that seems to be the way that Oculus is going. They're benching everything that's computer only, and they're going down this new route, which is cool. But you can plug it into a PC as well and actually use your wider library and get a performance boost from that. So that's I like how versatile that is. But I'm pretty sure with my new rig, I'm probably going to get that before long.
So like my older brother had a little go on my PlayStation VR, then when I got a Quest 2, he said it's amazing.
It's the controllers. It's that whole. They've obviously said they're working on the PSVR 2 now, which is going to have much more touch-based controlling and not those horrible move controllers, which were fine. I think as a repurpose of technology, it's kind of ingenious. But like it was clearly not designed from the ground up. It was thrown together, which is quite amazing. The
PSVR is noticeably old VR tech. It relies on the camera, it relies on the tracking of that. Obviously, yes, you're absolutely right. The controllers are not the best, and it will limit the type of games that you can play on it. But it's done its job for me. It's made me realise, okay, I want to see where VR goes now. Where I always dabbled at it, but I just never bought anything because I thought, But now I'm.
Are you before we move on and stuff and talk about more of a normal format? I just want to know: are you looking at new consoles? Are you looking at what are you looking at in the? I know because obviously you've got a lot of other priorities, and that's why I'm curious. It's like, so where do they fall for you? Is that 2 years from now? Is that PC first?
It's not. I mean, I've got the best part of 700 games on Steam, right? From humble bundles and winter sales where 30 quid bags you 20 games. So I have so many games on Steam. I think, well, I don't. And then with being PS Plus for God knows how long, got loads of great games in there that I've not even touched. Got PS Now, which is the streaming service. Again, loads of games in there. So when normally new consoles excites me, but nothing has made me go, yeah, I'll get a PS5 or the new Xbox. Like, I don't know anyone who owns. I know a good chunk of people that own a PS5. They are not playing PS5 games. No. They're playing PS4 games on it.
Yeah.
But what's the point in that? You might as well have waited 6-12 months, and waited for some price drops or whatever. The other thing as well is I don't have the TV power behind it.
Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by Rob getting eaten by his cat. I don't know. It's the thing. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. You were saying, Matt. Sorry.
I can't remember what I was saying.
You don't have a 4K TV?
I don't have the right telly.
You don't have a 4K?
No.
Oh.
And I just won't benefit from a PS5. There's just nothing out there yet. I know that it will come, like when God of War the new God of War. You probably guess now I'm a PlayStation owner rather than
Horizon 2.
Yeah, the new Horizon, the new God of War. If they make a new Uncharted, stuff like that. I love those franchises, and I'll probably get those, but it won't be for a while. I will get PS5 probably its mid to its end of life, I reckon. Long way away.
It's a weird generation so far. It is a weird generation so far. I think it's seeing what happens and where it goes. Like you said, there's so to come out when it came out was an achievement logistically for those guys, but then the games aren't there, and they might not be there for a while because of COVID. So yeah, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. But Matt, it was really good. Like, good chat, getting to know you. It's always fun to talk to somebody else and their gamer's perspective, especially someone who's got kids, a bit older, and you find the time. I love the fact that you're finding a second lease of gaming through your kids and stuff. That's really cool that they're into it, and
it's important. I think parents who go, I don't play games. You're just doing it wrong. You're picking the wrong type of games. Like I said, I'm not. It's rare for me to sit down and play a massive game, but arguably there are a lot smaller games, with way more content, rich in story. You can progress things. Like it's all good, and you just need to find the right type of game and stick to a list. Like I said, 700 Steam games is quite. You can be paralyzed just staring at all these games, going, "Well, which one should I pay?" So I am true to the list. I do not go away from that. Pick one and I play it till I complete it.
It's like the exact opposite of me. I terrible for finishing games. Terrible now, but I'm always playing newest, latest. And I'm always just going on to whatever the release is that week or month. But I guess I have an excuse. But at the same time, I miss completing games. I do. But then they don't make it easy. Like, I was playing some Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, which I might talk about later on in the show. But they're so big. There's so much to do. Like, just finishing them is 80 hours of investment, if not more. It's incredible. Like, it's insane. But
a few weeks ago, I fired up Assassin's Creed Origins again, just because I wanted to play more Odyssey, play Valhalla. I thought, well, I've not finished Origins. I should finish that one first and then move on to the next. And it was just so big. I just.
Did you look like? Did you take half an hour, look at the map, and go, "Nah, I'm good."
Pretty much. I reacquainted myself with the controls, ran around, stabbed a few people, and was just like, the map, it's too big.
But if you consistently played that, if you played that like an hour every night, it would be, for me personally, if I was to conquer one of those big games, which I do pick them every now and again. I did Horizon Zero Dawn, and that was the only game I played. It was like, if I'm going to play a game, I'm playing Horizon, no questions.
Yeah,
and I love that game, but it is scarily big, And for me to make a decision on one of those games, I have to really think it through.
I think it's gonna be really interesting to see the way these games, and as the gamers that are like these types of games get older, and their time gets more precious, right? Because these aren't the games that are going to sell to the Fortnite generation as they age up. Because that's not the game they're interested in, right? So how are these games going to change? I feel like they have to become shorter, and they have to become more compact and achievable, because more equals value is not going to actually be the equation, because it should be time factored into that. We don't have a lot of gamers as they get into their 30s and their 40s don't have the time, but still want that experience. So I think they're gonna have to come down in size.
They need to start limiting things to 10-hour story campaigns with then shit tons of side quests rather than.
That's what I was going to say. Is Origins just full of? I've not played an Assassin's Creed since Black Flag. I get that confused with Black Sails. But now they just want the biggest, bestest map. Like I found Red Dead 2 actually to be quite boring. I thought it just had vast, like they were like, oh, it's so immersive. But I was like, you've just got fluff in this. Are you finding that with Origins then? It's just too big with just fluff, vast open space with not much content.
Massive, great big regions of desert, and it's just like, well, okay, I get to that region on the map. What the hell am I going to do there? And it's just going to be more outpost clearing, more flag planting. Okay, that's exactly the same thing again for the 17th region. Like, it just got a bit defeatist almost. That it was just, there's so much. I want to carry on through the story, but it's level gated. So I can't just power through and, force ignoring side missions because I have to do the side missions because otherwise I can't stab people with enough sharp things. So it then becomes irritating that I have to spend the time doing the side quests when I just want to experience that story, go through it, finish that off, and then if I like it, I will do every side mission in the damn world.
Subsequent ones are better for that. They got rid of the gated leveling that you're talking about. But I don't know. It's curious. I can't wait to see. I'm a massive. If you were going to say one genre is my favorite, it's the open world RPG. So I love those games, but they're too big. Like I agree with you on Red Dead. Just empty space, but it's Rockstar. I never click with Rockstar games, so
Oh really? So I did. That was a little treat for me when my youngest was born. So he would be asleep on me at the ungodly hour, and I would be playing Red Dead.
A friend of mine would be doing that, but with Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's a genre of game I like.
Boy would just be fast asleep, and he would just be playing Dark Souls, holding him.
How do you throw the controller across the room in that situation? I feel like that would go bad.
Oh, he's good at games.
Oh, he got good. All right, fair enough.
As long as he doesn't mistake the baby for the controller and throws that instead. No.
Let's move on to the rest of the show. If we're good now, I think everybody's met Matt. We've introduced Matt properly. Had a good chat. So let's. Did you watch, Rob? Have you seen the final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I was watching that earlier.
I thought no spoilers, but I think I realised what I was missing. Do you know what I was missing? And they brought some of it in this final episode. I was missing the heart. I was missing what it means for Captain America to be Captain America. And I think Sam does nail that in this episode and finally brings some really important truths to bear. And actually, hopefully, they'll have some good bearing going forwards in the MCU. And I like that. I like that.
Well, there's already confirmation that they're working on Captain America 4.
Yeah, I saw. I thought the fighting and the reveal of certain characters was all very obvious and kind of predictable, but I thought the Captain America being Captain America finally, and the nod at the end where it became Captain America and the Winter Soldier in the credits was really nice. And I while I'm still not convinced with that character being Captain America, I think what he did was very good. I've just never liked that. I've never enjoyed. I don't want to spoil it, but I've never enjoyed that character.
Well, you've just turned around and said it becomes Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so it could be a new character. You don't know what that is. I'm still not spoiling.
I mean, I have no idea what you're like. Yeah. I like Marvel stuff, but I was saying to Ben the other day, Disney Plus stuff, series wise, is just
passed you by. You've not bought in yet. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I need to do it. I need to just sit down and start watching stuff.
Yeah. WandaVision is brilliant.
WandaVision is an exercise in grief, but it develops story and develops characters, and it's huge.
And Loki's coming. Looks really good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, WandaVision has been entered into a limited series Emmy Award category by Marvel, so they're trying to get an Emmy for it. Same with Falcons, Captain America, Winter Soldier, whatever. The one that's just finished. I think they're trying to get awards for that as well. I think they're putting Loki in too for some awards.
Falcon Winter Soldier ain't going to win any awards. It's just not good enough. It was fine.
It might for the stunt choreography and things like that.
But that wasn't even that remarkable. I mean, there was some decent...
Okay, find me something more remarkable on television.
For fighting?
Yes.
I'd have to have
Queen's
a think.
Gambit.
You put me on the spot there. I haven't. I don't know.
Oh, really?
That's like you've never seen chess pieces move.
I thought it was a completely different thing. I love about chess. What are they doing? I need to watch it for the stunts.
Yeah, no, that's about playing chess.
But to bring it back to Britain. Do you guys watch Line of Duty? We've never talked about it on the podcast before.
No.
Neither of you. Holy
Nope.
shitballs.
I don't have a TV license. I don't watch live TV.
So all on iPlayer.
I cannot legally watch iPlayer.
Oh, yeah, okay. No.
Because I don't have a TV license.
No, you're right. That is true. Good boy. However, it is the best thing being made in the UK right now. Like, no doubt. Matt, you'd love it.
Sounds World War-y.
No, you don't even heard of it. Okay. It's about an internal division of the police in the UK that operates as counter-corruption or anti-corruption. So AC-12. So it's about this group of cops working to take down corruption and actually related a lot to obviously the big scandals we had with all the celebrities doing very inappropriate things not that long ago, and all connected to that. And yeah, like, just it has the best guest stars. It's like some of the best actors working in the UK today, the best writing. It's just tense and brilliantly put together. And we had a huge cliffhanger at the end of last week. Can't wait to see what happens this Sunday. It's one of it.
So you're watching.
Yeah.
It.
So it is basically single-handedly reinvented appointment TV in the UK. There hasn't been appointment TV UK. I will keep saying that because obviously Game of Thrones was definitely appointment TV for a lot of people. But a UK produced appointment TV. This is like the first time it's getting like ridiculous viewing numbers, like 14 million people. It's like the numbers that we've just not seen in decades in the UK for people watching television all at one, live television. Like, so
is it just one season?
No, we're up to like six, seven. It's all on iPlayer and Netflix, and it's the thing to do is watch it all. There's short seasons, but it's well worth just binging through them. You won't be able to stop. It's so good. I did that.
Let me guess.
I was behind until last year. I'd never seen it.
Let me guess. The anti-corruption police unit are all corrupt.
If only it was that simple, Rob.
So yes. Cool.
No.
I'm on board.
No and yes and maybe and like I mean
I've
it's just
seen the attention-grabbing headlines.
It's not as simple as any of that. It really and it is so well like the spider's web. It's like incredible. It's like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, like Clary sort of novel. It's insanely well written. Like, it's just fantastic. So there is good stuff coming out of the UK. I wanted to mention, are either of you, I know Rob's not, Matt, are you into football at all?
No.
That's okay, because neither am I. And yet I found myself on Apple TV Plus watching Ted Lasso, which is this sitcom about a American...
Yeah, so
go on.
Well, I know about this because I like American football, and this Ted Lasso that show is based off a couple of real short clips that came out years ago,
right?
Where an American football coach would go and train an English soccer football team.
Oh. I didn't know that. I'm blown away by it. Though it's incredibly good, and what's so good about it is that I thought it was going to be sarcastic, myopic, Office style, like he was going to be. He's not. He is the nicest guy, and it's just basically this really nice, genuine American dude, fish out of water scenario, shining a light against the kind of awful, cynical, money-driven world that is the Premiership. And it basically, it's the exact opposite of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be glorifying British football, but instead, it's showing us how fucking awful the culture is around British football, and how really a little bit of investment in humanity and people would go a really long way in this really broken system, and is also hilariously funny as well. But like the most heartfelt thing I've seen in a while, and you just watch it episode by episode. This guy winning people over bit by bit, just by being a nice guy, whereas everybody else is so much about, cynical, money-driven, performance-related. That's all they care about, and it's just genius. Like, it's so well. Jason Sudeikis is incredible in the lead, and I think that's who is in the lead. I might be wrong, actually. It's one of those American comedy actors that you would recognize, but is not the famous one. Is not Paul Rudd. So they all kind of look like Paul Rudd, but there's like 3 of them that look like Paul Rudd, that man, but they aren't Paul Rudd.
That famous actor, not Paul Rudd.
Yeah, they're kind of all the same though. I feel bad for not remembering for certain of who it is, but it's really, really good. And if you're interested in I like football, right? I'm not a big fan now, but I've used to be. And one of the things that pushed me away from it is how awful it is, and the whole thing about the Super League stuff that came out in the last few weeks has been depressing.
I did learn about the Super League thing. Actually, the thing that I watched that made me go, James Corden did
same. I watched that 8 minutes, on it. 8 minutes of him crying about how
powerful, man.
It was really impressive. Yeah, like how much he cared came through. And it's like, all right, I'm going to do some reading off the back of that, James Corden. And I was like, yep, everything you said, spot on. What a bunch of arseholes.
I think that is the first time someone's done reading following something that James Corden has ever said.
Have you never seen Gavin and Stacey? Incredible, by the way, Rob.
Yeah, Gavin and Stacey is a wonderful comedy. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. I really enjoy it. Does not promote further reading.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, James Corden, very talented guy. You can't really knock that guy for the amount of talent that comes out of him. It's just painful how many skills he seems to have. So football, even if you don't love, it's not really about the football. It's about the cynical nature of the business. And it's also very, very funny, and it's really good. Ted Lasso, Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called. Because for some reason, Matt, I have all of them, and I've
got Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus. I think I'm good with that.
It's probably enough.
I got Netflix and Prime, but I've only got Prime because I want quick delivery. I just happen to have Prime Video as well because you can't have one without the other.
There's some good stuff on Prime Video.
Yeah. There's definitely some good stuff. So what I just want to end this on because we were talking about this on Friday. It really is annoying because I really wanted to watch the new Mortal Kombat film, and I wanted to watch it legitimately and pay to watch the new Mortal Kombat film. But guess what doesn't have UK distribution?
The Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah.
Good guess, Rob.
How stupid is that in 2021? What is going on? What is going on though? I was going to watch that yesterday. I was like, right, it's come out on Friday. It'll be just like those other movies that have been released recently. It'll be out, Godzilla and Kong, that came out, straight away, same day as America. No more Kombat in the UK. So what, my option is to go and download that illegally then, is it? Is that what you're telling me I should do?
When you say distribution, is that just putting it on a website?
It's not available in the UK anywhere yet.
To download or stream?
Nope, nothing. No.
I mean, I don't know, but is that costing them any more to distribute in the UK? It's
well,
not like they're physically sending copies to the UK.
So the issue is the different rights holders and the different providers, right? So there are different deals. This is this very archaic system that still hasn't modernized, even though COVID you'd have thought made everybody sort this out, but it hasn't. And it's like, so in America, this is available on HBO. I want to say it's on HBO Max, and it's on limited screens in cinemas that are open, which is very few. Obviously, there are no cinemas open in the UK right now. They're coming open again in the next month or so, but they're not open right now. So instead of doing distribution on maybe Sky/Now TV or Netflix or Amazon or Apple TV Plus or Disney Plus or anything, it's not happened yet. Now, this might be because they're waiting for the cinemas to open and want to put it on big screens, but you're still going to lose so much interest in that intervening month and a half. It's just crazy to me. I mean, it's like, so yeah, Godzilla Kong came out, and I rented that for 16 quid because I wanted to see it, and I'm happy to pay for it and support, the guys that have made that have shot that, the people that have worked on that. I don't want to do stuff illegally, but when stuff is limited like this is when it sends people to piracy. This is the stupidest thing.
I agree with everything you're saying, but you're forgetting an option,
which is not to see it.
Yeah,
I'm not forgetting to see it, but that isn't necessarily an option you have to accept in 2021. I'm saying there are very easy illegal alternatives, and it's stupid to encourage that when you could just make a distribution plan. We've seen all these films that are doing it from the same people, from the same. Why they've not worked this one out for Mortal Kombat? I don't get it.
Justice League.
Yeah, that was the same thing. That came out, and we could see it. We got that on Sky Cinema. The same day as HBO Max, so there's a legitimate way of seeing that in the UK. Why isn't the same for Mortal Kombat? It doesn't, I mean, I know why, because they've not made the deals, but it's like, why would you not make the deals? It's so stupid. I just want to see more combat. I want to see some bloody fatalities, man. Come on, give me
you
what
seen
I
the
need.
first 7 minutes?
No, because I thought I was going to be able to watch the whole bloody film. I didn't think I needed to watch the first 7 freaking minutes that are on YouTube. Now, maybe I should. I don't know. And then I won't watch any. I might just
Very
boycott it.
good.
I'm just going to boycott it, Rob. I'm just going to boycott it. Then they'll really feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They won't.
Well, I'll
shit.
sit here and say how good of a film it is in that case then.
It's just silly. It just bugs me. 2021, guys. Like, sort this stuff out. Sort it out. It's stupid. Dumb.
I do agree.
It's dumb. Anyway, has anybody else watched anything else? So I've ranted about mine before we get onto the news.
I watch Parks and Recreation now. Apparently, I'm a bit behind the curve on that.
I've watched the
I
whole thing.
recently watched that.
I've watched the whole thing about 3 times now. I love that show.
Funny.
It's very
Really
good.
funny.
Very, very good.
That's all I need to say about that.
I've started, I think, subconsciously adopting please and thank you into the things I say after our dear friend Mr. Swanson, who says that very often whenever he's after something. Can you do this, please and thank
You
you?
do have a bit of Ron Swanson about you, Rob, actually.
Is it the mustache?
No, I meant in the way, you know,
Is it the grumpy irritability
You
of
sometimes-
society life and everything?
you sometimes sit in your hole with the door closed and it's like, nah, don't bother Rob right now. you get that vibe. No, in a good way though. Who doesn't love Ron Swanson?
Oh, he's a legend. Love
I
it.
do like steak.
I've got a print somewhere, a quote of what is it about breakfast food? You know, it's just about bacon, more bacon. That line he says, I can't remember where it is. Just all about extra bacon with the bacon on the more bacon on the. I can't remember what it was, but the wife got it for me for Christmas at some point many years ago. It's around somewhere in this house, but I'm not sure where it is. But it's not in my office. But yeah, who doesn't have that? I just finished my second rewatch of the US Office as well during lockdown, like a month ago. Great show. What about you, Rob? You watched anything?
I'm going slowly through The Office as well. It's my kind of like chill, have noise on whilst I'm doing stuff show, The Office at the moment.
It's very good.
The quote you're thinking of is him saying, just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait, I'm worried what you've just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand? That's the quote you're thinking of.
It is. That is the quote, and it sums me up too when it comes to bacon. That is the way I live my life around bacon. So yeah, absolutely.
I've just watched the episode where he gets, they go hunting and he gets shot in the back of the head.
It's a good episode. I like that one. It took me a good couple of seasons to warm up to Leslie Knope because I hated her to start with.
I think that's the idea. It's kind of she's very David Brent, isn't she?
I've never watched UK Office.
Okay.
I only recently watched the US one this year for the first
All
time.
right, she's very Steve Carell in the US Office.
That works. But yeah, I've not really been watching anything else remarkable or anything really recently. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get onto it.
Let's move on to the news then. And
Indeed.
I will kick us off with the first news story, which is pretty remarkable, actually. We talked about this quite extensively on previous shows, which was Sony's announcement that they were going to shutter the Vita, PS3 and PSP storefronts, the digital storefronts, so you could no longer buy games digitally on those platforms. And they've listened to the universally negative feedback, and they're not going to do that anymore. They are still going to close the PSP storefront, but they are keeping Vita and PS3 open, at least for the time being. They've not given any kind of extended time frame. But look, it's always nice when a large corporation seems to listen to the fans and the users and go, okay, maybe not. I mean, the last time we saw this was Microsoft and Xbox when they were going to raise the price of Xbox Live Gold, and that backlash on that was intense. And I think within about 24 hours they U-turned on this. Obviously, this took a little longer with PlayStation on this one, but they've listened and they're not going to do it. I mean, we brought attention to stories regarding this where it was like there were people developing games for the Vita that were only going to come out digitally, and they hadn't actually been told that this was going to happen. So they were going to just have to either rush their games out before the closure point or just scrap the entire project. So there was a couple of those stories, and I was like, how could you not let these developers know? Like, this is just mind-blowing to me. I think in typical Sony fashion, the whole thing was handled poorly from the beginning, throughout the messaging. And now, they've just gone back on it. So good. I mean, it's sort of hilarious, but
I think I own a Vita.
as do I. Great handheld.
And I think, as I said previously, because I have PS Plus, once upon a time you got free Vita games. And I think a lot of people bought a Vita because of that. And they said, well, I've got a bunch of games already. And then when I got the Vita, I was like, let's have a look at what's on the store. Ooh, the God of War HD I could play that on a train. So I started buying stuff, and there'll be a day that I might pick it up and might want to purchase something that's a historical Vita game. So I'm glad that they've kept open, but I don't actually think it's going to be open for much longer.
6 months?
Yeah.
I do think the writing's on the wall, isn't it? Like,
they've U-turned it enough because people have shouted about it. They're going to try and do this again once everyone's forgotten about it and there's a big distraction over yonder that everyone is looking at. I think that's what is essentially going to happen.
I mean, do like that. Oh, sorry, go on, Ben.
I was just going to say, the cynic in me wants to agree, but on the other hand, you've only got to look at like the way Microsoft is handling its backwards compatibility in its storefronts, and there's never any just talk of anything.
I'm just going to point out how completely differently Sony and Microsoft run their everything. Like they are fundamentally approaching everything from such a different perspective. I'm not sure at this point they can be compared.
Well, you have to compare them because they're competitors in the same marketplace. I mean, obviously they need to be compared, but it's
about some things, yes. About closure of storefronts, maybe not.
I mean, this is them listening, though. Can't we hope? Can't we hope that this is them saying we won't do this?
Oh, yeah, without... This is the thing. This is where I think I'm too cynical. If we go back to then Microsoft as the example and they hiked the Xbox Live Gold price, that was U-turned. They will be finding other ways to increase the price. It just won't be as obvious, and it won't be as quick.
We have a
news
story coming up, which would indicate something different is happening with their way they might be handling things. So
I find that when the Xbox Live Gold hike thing came about, I find it interesting that how many times have you had an email from Netflix going, "Oh, by the way, you're now paying us this"? It's not Netflix don't make a big announcement going, "We're thinking about this. What do you think, users?" Because of course everyone's going to go, "No." Oh yeah, actually, yeah, we probably won't. Like, what other industry does that?
Yeah, I think since I've been a Netflix subscriber, my price must have gone up at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it just goes up.
I think they lose people, but it's a small amount of people. You know, it's a statistically insignificant amount that they don't feel it. You know, compared to the money they're then making from the increased hike.
I do find this interesting with video games. I think a lot of gamers forget that these companies do need to make profit. And when a price goes up or, you know, oh, there's DLC, but you're going to have to pay for it. It is like they've just done something absolutely horrendous to us. It's like, come on, we're just trying to make a bit. We're a business.
I think the difference is that gaming communities are very vocal. You know, if you're a gamer, you're really switched on. You understand the avenues. Not all the time, obviously. This is definitely not all the time. But if you are the kind of people watching this podcast or reading news stories about gaming, then you are one of those switched on gamers. So it means that, you know, within these communities, we're very vocal. You understand the channels that we have to communicate this, and will loudly do it when you're not happy, and that's great, and that's obviously therefore had this effect on Sony, and it has effect on Microsoft previously, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep reporting on it. So I look forward to seeing what happens next in this one. Rob, you've got the next story.
Indeed. So recently we had Discord entering into a variety of talks with a variety of different people, including one of which was Microsoft, for a buyout. This was a set of talks that Discord apparently initiated themselves at their own price point of $10 billion. But the talks have ended. It is not
billion.
There is no deal. This is good.
Is this good?
Very good.
Why is this good?
When Microsoft bought Skype, they slowly have driven it into the ground, because they then take away all the freedom of what the developers tend to want for their platform, because it must be the Microsoft way. The biggest thing I'm sad about is that we're not going to get a Discord app for our Xbox consoles over this. That is the thing that I'm sad about. Otherwise, Discord can stay independent. That is absolutely fine.
But I think, doesn't this just mean it's going to be with someone else?
There's no guarantee of that.
if they're looking to talk to
10
companies,
billion was
All right.
turned down.
off to Google they go. Then that I mean, or Facebook. Are those better options than Microsoft? No.
But there's nothing to say they were even in talks.
Yeah, probably because they're less leaky ships, perhaps. I mean, if they're actively looking for tenders to be bought, then it means they're gonna get bought in sometime in the calendar year 2021. I'd put 20 quid on that right now.
So I'm a bit of a Discord newbie. How does Discord monetize? How do they get their money?
They have a premium option called Nitro, which you can pay £100 a year to basically get. I don't even know what it gives you.
You get like emojis, and you get
You can upgrade your emoji, personalize your profiles, and stand out in servers you're a part of. So you get more emoji power, a personalized profile. You can support servers that you're parts of, so it boosts their popularity. You rep your status, apparently. You get a custom profile badge to show off your Nitro status.
rep your status.
You can upload bigger files
Sounds sweet, baby.
to share. But the thing is, it's not limitless. It is a file size of 100 megabytes.
But if you were ever gonna sell a platform like this, now's the time to do it. This is why they're looking, right? Post-COVID, now in a world where everybody's working from home, or a lot more companies are staying working from home, in a world in which we now understand how important this sort of software platform is, now's the time to sell, because there's going to be tech companies wanting to improve their back-end infrastructure for just this sort of thing. So
I wonder if Amazon might be a buyer linked
Amazon,
with Twitch.
Google, Facebook, they'd all be interested, wouldn't they? All of them. Even if you don't use Discord and you just use the tech to improve your own software, that seems sensible, doesn't it? And that's probably why they're valued at 10 billion, because it's a good platform. We use it really well.
They have a market value of about 7. They decided to pitch their price at 10.
Sure. Sure, why not?
Add a casual 3 billion on.
Yeah, but when
I could add a casual 3 billion to my bank account.
I do think they'll be done. They'll be sold sooner rather than later.
Potentially. Yeah. I am not 100% sure. I reckon if they've said no to one of the biggest players,
well,
there must be
knowing Microsoft, they lowballed them. So
they Discord set the price.
Yeah, and then Microsoft said 8, and then Discord were like, nah. So it's like, we'll see, but they clearly are looking for that that sale. So.
But we're not done with Microsoft news.
We are not.
Matt, why don't you lead us back into the thing that was linked to what we were talking about before?
Yeah. And I really like this one. So Microsoft have ditched basically a gold requirement to play free-to-play games, which I think is freaking awesome of them. As a PlayStation owner, I would have loved to have played some free-to-play stuff with a friend of mine who doesn't have PS Plus, but we couldn't.
Yes, you could. It's been that way on PlayStation forever.
What? I didn't think so. We just never even tried.
So this is the thing. Microsoft has been behind the ball on this for a long time. So for some reason they've always paywall gated your ability to play Fortnite, Warzone, whatever, behind
Fortnite.
behind gold. Whereas on Plus,
I suck at all of them. I tried Apex Legends and
Apex is good. Apex is a good one because Titanfall and Respawn really well
great
made,
game.
but,
I just suck at it to the point where it's not fun.
Warzone's quite approachable. Warzone's if you've ever played COD, you'll do all right in Warzone.
I can't. People are too good. And Fortnite, just you take a shot at someone and all of a sudden they're in a castle with a rocket launcher shooting back at you. It's like, how did that happen?
I like that. They're in a castle. Where did that fucking castle come from? Mother. Oh, God, there's a castle.
That is what happens.
I know it is. It's so freaking weird, that game. I hate it. I can't get my head around it at all. I'm too old. But no, this is about time. That's how I would sum this up. About bloody time. And honestly, that was still paying on Plus and for gold to play games online is wrong. This needs to go. This needs to finish.
What can you justify the cost for Xbox Live Gold specifically for?
I think
no, you can't.
Events. It's a good question though. I would be keen to get involved in events. So if you're a Plus Xbox Live Gold, whatever, you can enter this event for free because you are a member. Non-members cannot. Or maybe, there's a double XP weekend, but only for members. Or I like the free games. The free game stuff always, that's the thing that's kept me.
The false economy, the concept of free when it isn't. Yeah. I mean, so Rob's point there is pointedly trying to specify the gold benefits without acknowledging Game Pass Ultimate, right? Because that's their other
different service.
That's their other service, right? It's obviously PlayStation, Matt, do not have an equivalence right now. So if you lost Plus, there really wouldn't be anywhere else for PlayStation users to go, or for Sony, I should say, to bring in more money. Whereas Xbox right now has this brilliant alternative, which is Game Pass / Game Pass Ultimate. So really, gold should go at this point because Game Pass Ultimate is the better offering, is the better value, it is the awesome proposition. And that's why when we saw, taking us back to that previous story where we started to talk about the price hike for Xbox Live Gold, it was a very clear indicator that they were trying to get people into Game Pass Ultimate and therefore ditch Gold, because Game Pass Ultimate is their subscription service that includes a library of around 350 games now, and also gives you the multiplayer access. And that's what I have, and that's what Rob has, and that's what many switched on.
This is where Sony's
Xbox
a bit sneaky then, because they've got PS Plus and PS Now.
Yes, and now, of course, the problem with Now is that it's remote. It's not local games, so you're streaming the game, so it's very much network dependent.
You can download
some can be downloaded, can't they? Yeah. They turned that on about 18 months ago, I believe. But it's whereas Game Pass, it's all downloadable, like a normal game, like you bought a game digitally, and the library is incredible. There's always new games coming out for it that are like brand new, like Outriders, for example. Me and Rob smashed the crap out of Outriders. It was a Game Pass game. It was, so for all intents and purposes, free. That concept once again of free.
They have a time frame on them, so
it's like Netflix.
But we don't know what that time frame is.
It's like Netflix, so it could come on and be on there for a few months. It could be on there for 2 years. The difference being, if it's a first-party Xbox studio, including all the new ones they bought, and Bethesda, of course, now, which is in that family, all of those games will be on there forever as part of the service. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm amazed it took them this long. I'm glad they've done it, obviously, especially for youngsters and people like yourself, Matt, who've got maybe a kid in the family and stuff, and you just want to play some Fortnite. They don't need to have an Xbox Live Gold subscription. And that's brilliant. That's really forward thinking and stuff. But about bloody time. Good news. Next story, it's one of mine, I believe. Knights of the Old Republic. More news around this potentially being remade and coming at some point onto a platform. But, the rumor is, and this seems like a solid bet, that it's Aspyr doing it. Aspyr, who have done a bunch of the more recent ports, like Republic Commando and Episode 1 Racer, and have brought those games onto the current generation of hardware. But the rumor is that for Knights of the Old Republic, they're going to be doing a full remake, not just a remaster. So we're going back and doing full asset improvement and stuff. So think Final Fantasy VII or Dark Souls, or sorry, Demon Souls, I should say, by Blue Point. Matt, tell me you played Knights of the Old Republic.
Definitely. Yeah, I think this is good. This is going to be able to make a good game back again. As I said earlier about nostalgic games, I don't know if anyone's revisited it recently, and how good relatively. You might think it was, but I think if they remade it, that's great. And then also make it accessible to the people that missed it, that are 12, like Rob.
Rob, have you played KOTOR?
It's not taken you long, has it? I dabbled in it briefly at one point because I think it was on Game Pass, wasn't it? Or was it a Game of Gold or something? I don't know.
Sure.
I have played a little bit of it. It didn't grab me, but I did not give it a very fair chance. It was not very long.
I can't really blame you. It plays really weird, like by today's standards of RPGs, because it's got that third person view, and yet it's actually turn based for all intents and purposes in the combat.
Fine. Final Fantasy X. Turn-based completely.
Yeah, but it's also not. It's like I don't know how you describe it, like active time battle almost, but not.
It's
really
like that. It's like Xenoblade, isn't it?
It's a weird game. It plays it plays very strangely, and it also kind of looks pretty terrible now as well.
It was the look that put me off more than
It's got a really that awkward transition that BioWare went through when they were coming to console and stuff, and it just. Yeah, I mean they've got some great games because it was an original Xbox game, so OG Xbox, as well as PC, and they also brought out Jade Empire, which if you've never played is a
I love that game,
incredibly good game, which is Kung Fu RPG if you've never played that one, so that's really really good. This has come from Schreier, who is probably the most reputable sort of source for these sort of leaks, so I don't think there's any doubt that this is happening and this is coming. I do hope BioWare are involved to some degree, even if it's just advisory or, like they're giving suggestions or art assets or concept art, stuff to help them flesh out a remake of it. But Aspyr have done solid work, I guess, with their ports. This would probably be the biggest project they've done to date. So hopefully they've scaled up in the right ways to pull it off, but it could be a while out, anyway, like years. So I don't know, but I'm glad it's happening. Did you ever do double with Old Republic, the MMO?
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, I have a love-hate relation with MMOs.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. They do a good job with it though, because it's still very story focused. And the different class paths all have unique stories, so like Smuggler and Scoundrel and Jedi and stuff. So you do have a very different experience depending on what you pick, and you can do it all single player, and it's free to play now. So it's worth checking out. Though it's only PC.
Is it free to play?
Well, I mean, you get more out of it if you put money in, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's kind of like Elder Scrolls Online in that regard, that you do feel somewhat kneecapped if you play it. Free.
Nowadays, find a game that doesn't get better the more money you put into it.
Path of Exile.
Fair.
That's
corrected.
Is that the Diablo ripoff?
Yeah,
ARPG.
Yeah. It was an ARPG, and I need to get back into that because I really enjoyed it. And as far as I can gather, transaction is only for stash space and cosmetics. That's it. It doesn't cap you on experience or opening levels and all that kind of stuff.
That's good.
I was saying that, man.
I think
one of the things that did kill me the most playing Elder Scrolls Online was the limited inventory that you'd have to pay for to expand. They really kneecap you on it, in a big way.
I thought their business model was pay for the game, and there's no monthly subscription.
Yeah, it's a weird hybrid one, isn't it? You do have to buy it ESO, but ESO has been part of Game Pass for so long now. I almost think of it as free to play. But yeah, there is a monthly sub option as well now. But then there's also a lot of premium stuff where it's stash space and expansions, and it's basically they feel like they just monetize everything in that game. So it's just you got to buy it, and then you've also got to sub for it, and then you've got to buy stuff to make it playable. Yeah, so have fun. It's not great, that game. I keep going back to it and trying. I did it for the Morrowind expansion, and I did it for the Greymoor expansion, which was going back to Skyrim. But yeah, I keep going back, and it's like, oh yeah, you've made some user improvements here, but it's still not great. It's still not a good game.
The thing I love most about ESO was their pre-rendered trailers. All amazing.
They were good.
Sick burn. What's your favorite thing about the game? The thing that's not in the game. Sick burn. Yep. Yeah.
I'm kind of intentional. This is just me going to how they did that in the world. It's amazing.
That's where they put their money in. Sadly, not into the game. Pay some third-party studio to develop the really nice CGI. Yeah, it's the who else is known for that? It's Thingy Bob, isn't it? Diablo. God. Blizzard. Thank you. Blizzard are known for their CGI trailers as well, aren't they? Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of Blizzard then. That was weird. Right, another story, Matt.
Yeah, I guess one's quite a short one, but one I'm quite excited about. EA's working on this year's Battlefield game, which I believe's been 3-4 years since their last one came out, maybe longer.
No, we only had 1 year missing. Didn't have one last year.
I thought it was 2018 was the last one.
Did you?
Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
I thought it was last year, wasn't it?
Since the last major entry, Battlefield 5 launched in 2018.
Really? Was it really 2018?
Read your show notes, Ben.
I could have sworn I played it. I could have sworn I played a new Battlefield more recent than that. I'm thinking of Battlefront. Am I thinking of Battlefront? Am I thinking because we had a Battlefront since then? Star Wars. Is that why?
We have not had a Battlefront since then.
I don't know. Then I'm just losing my mind. There you go.
They did a big update, but I'm really excited for this because I used to sink a lot of hours into Battlefield, but the last couple, the World War one and Battlefield 5, didn't really. I managed to play the beta of both of them. They didn't really grip me, so I didn't dive into it. But I played a lot of Battlefield 4, but my favourite is Bad Company 2. What a game.
Oh, wow. You're going, OG. Like, you're going way back. Yeah, Bad Company 2 is incredible.
Bad Company 2 had the perfect blends of a big map, but it wasn't like, I'm going to run for 25 minutes before I find somebody. Like, it was action-packed, but still that feeling of a vast map.
Amazing. With Battlefield, Matt's completely correct. Battlefield 5 launched in 2018. It's had progressively large amounts of DLC. We've had Overture, Lightning Strikes, Trial by Fire, Defying the Odds, War in the Pacific, and most recently in 2020, Into the Jungle, which I'm hoping was accompanied by the song of the same name, or What is the Point?
This is where EA does do it good. And I know people give them stick for it, but they go, okay, here's our game, Battlefield. If you like it, we are going to do more stuff for it. Buy a pass here and now. It's going to be this amount right now, and you get all of that stuff as we launch it. I did that for my sins, but I did it for Battlefield Hardline. Okay. Wait, it was good.
I'm really confused. Could someone explain to the youngster, please?
For some reason, Hardline had a really hard time.
Because it was shit.
It wasn't. It was cops and robbers.
Yeah, that's why it was wicked. Shit. That was a terrible idea. Amazing. It was a terrible idea.
Okay, I think you're wrong.
Wow.
It's the ugly stepkid of the Battlefield game.
It is, yeah. It got really, really slated. But I liked it.
Hence Ben's mockery of you actually enjoying it.
No, I'm sorry. It surprised me.
The mockery of me buying the season pass.
Yes,
for it,
that surprised me so much because it
what
was
was
like,
good about it.
What?
What I liked about it, it had a really good. If you wanted the confined deathmatchy type of experience, they tried to tackle that. But then if you want that battlefieldy big thing going on, you could do that as well.
I think the last modern one, 4. Which was the start of the Xbox One and PS4 generations, was incredible. It was just massively hamstrung by hardware that wasn't good enough to pull it off. If you played it on PC, it was really, really good. But on consoles, it struggled with frame rate so badly that it was only became really decent on Xbox when the Elite came out. Like, that was the first time it was actually playable, was when they brought out the improved hardware. Because it was just, frame rate was garbage, but the actual scope and the setting was they really killed it with 4. So if this new one goes back to that kind of modern warfare setting, I'm really excited. Hardline, I mean, I respect them for experimenting. Like, it took a really, I mean, I just remember that the playing the missions with the non-lethal weapons, like all you've got is a taser, and it was like, what the hell is this game?
But do you think this theme of the next battle, because obviously the previous one was Modern Warfare, do you think they're going to do Modern Warfare again, or do you
the previous one, 5, was World War II.
I thought it was just called Battlefield, that one. No,
so 5 was World War II, I want to say. Am I wrong again? I honestly do mix up these FPS, because I always conflate Call of Duty with these in my head, I think, to a degree, so I could be wrong, but I could have sworn 5 was the one which had like it was all advertised as like edgy, sorry, but it was actually kind of just World War II again. I
thought they did World War One.
Yes, and then World War II.
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1 was World War 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 was World War 2.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes.
So they'll probably do Modern Warfare.
I think so. Yeah.
I really like Battlefield Vietnam. was cool.
We're going back again. I think that was PC only. I want to say.
We're going back a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the first multiplayer FPSs I ever played. It blew my mind. Jumping in a helicopter and someone switching the radio to Ride of the Valkyries. All in game. It was amazing.
I loved being the support class in 4, where I would ride in a helicopter, and then it's taking fire, and I'm like fucking healing the helicopter as we're in the air. It was awesome.
Just got like a TIG welder. Just
basically.
I'm here.
You'd like hang out the side of the helicopter and be like healing the helicopter. It was the most ridiculous video game bollocks, but it was also, you felt really important as support in that one, like, which felt great. This has got, I mean, the story here is that it's not just that EA is doing it. I alluded this in my article that I wrote on the website, which was that they're basically gutted studios within EA that were making other games to put them on Battlefield to get this out this year because of all the problems we've seen with COVID, and the lineup is exactly that. If you look at the lineup, for example, Criterion is making Battlefield. This is Criterion, who made Burnout and has more recently been making Need for Speed games, has basically had their kind of lineup, you know, of those games just gutted. Like, those games are all delayed now. The new Need for Speed are going to be put back at least a year because the studio has to be repurposed to make Battlefield instead.
So we've got DICE, Criterion, DICE Los Angeles, Electronic Arts Gothenburg, and Industrial Toys all making Battlefield. And my big worry here is too many cooks.
Well, yeah. You have to hope they've got the pipeline in place to pull it off. But it'd be interesting to find out who in DICE Los Angeles, Electronic Arts Gothenburg, and Industrial Toys actually were prior, because what that will be are studios that have been purchased by EA and rebranded. I'd be very curious to know the lineage of those studios. I mean, Criterion is a really good dev. I just think of them for racing games, so I'm really curious as to how they'll be plugged in to the pipeline to make Battlefield. But yeah, they need this. They need this game for Q4. They really need it, a tentpole, because there's just not really any games for this year at the moment. And when we talked about Battlefield and the future of it, I want to see huge levels of destructibility and it integral to gameplay. Like, that's what I think sets Battlefield apart. So
for Criterion, extra pressure on the vehicle sections then.
Better make those tanks.
Yeah.
If I can't customize my tank with a 6 spoiler, I'm really going to be gutted.
I just hope they don't, as we talked about earlier, I hope they don't go big is better.
Hit the NOS on the tank, baby.
It's got 15 gear shifts.
I think they will go that way though, Matt. I think they will go down more players and multiplayer. And I know I feel you. The system in Battlefield is a squad spawning system, which makes it so you can spawn on a squad member if they're not in combat. It doesn't always work great though, because you spawn in and all die. Spawn in, die. Spawn in, die. Spawn in, die.
But the other thing as well is you'll have half of your team waiting on the main spawn point, waiting for various vehicles to come into the game, like a chopper or a tank, because the objective is at least a 10-minute run. So you got to wait, and then some twat jumps in a chopper and just flies off and leaves everyone, or just bins it 30 seconds into the air. That to me is not a fun Battlefield game. Bad Company 2 was absolutely perfect because you would spawn, you could run if there was a tank, have some fun, but there was action en route to the objective.
Battlefront 2 was a pretty good mix as well. Like,
don't remember that one too much.
Yeah, they got that balance quite well done because they had the squad spawning and the maps weren't too big, but.
Yeah. What is it? 64 and 64 in 5, or 32 on 32. It was big. Many. It was big. I like that. 5 is good. I played quite a lot of 5. Not all these years of updates. I haven't gone back that many times, but maybe I'll check it out on the new hardware, see if that's giving it a boost or anything. But yeah, I don't know. It was good. It just felt like another World War II shooter though. Like,
yeah. I would like for them to look at the lay of the land and go, okay, let's see what's out. Well, you got Hell Let Loose, fantastic giant World War II shooter. Let's not go down that route because that's already there. Let's try and fight. And there isn't that. I know I keep saying the Bad Company 2 thing, but there isn't that more accessible game.
Yeah.
It's not there at the moment. Not that I can think of.
So the Bad Company 2 is great because it's got that. I don't know if you remember the movie Three Kings. So the slightly disgruntled, roguish, modern soldier element vibe to it, and I think bringing that into the game again, a slightly more tongue in cheek. You know when you had like the Vietnam era sort of like custom choppers. You know they got the painting on the side, and it's like you're just coming in, effing dudes up, and it's. But I think the problem is it's a bit tonally inappropriate now to look at war in that way.
It's a
but
video game.
I know, but it's like it's really you've got flipping 7 Days in Fallujah or whatever it's called coming out, and it's like everybody's pissing themselves about whether or not that's going to handle the subject matter correctly. I can't imagine they'd be all right with guys riding in choppers to rock music, dropping napalm on the enemy. I don't think that's going to play well in 2021. I don't think it would go down well. You have to take it very seriously now.
Yeah, I mean, you are right, but then you got like GTA 5. Man, I could jump on Steam, and if I wanted to, buy a game where I can date a rabbit if I wanted to. Like, come on.
I mean, that's not inherently inappropriate, though. I'm just saying, look, don't be judging people, Matt, on their proclivities for rabbit.
Sorry, have I touched that?
Clearly, Ben is very protective of human rights, but we won't get into that one.
Freedom to love, man. Got to have the freedom to love. Just don't be holding that down.
I think we need to just abandon realistic settings. We've done World War II to death.
You know what I loved? I loved Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It tanked in sales. They tried to do sci-fi, and nobody fucking wanted to buy it.
Battlefield, so it's Battlefield.
I never said sci-fi.
Well, what fantasy or what?
Abandon World War II. Stop going back to that security blanket.
It's cyclical.
They're German.
It's cyclical. They did World War One. They did Modern War. They did Modern. Then they went Cops, and then they went One, and then they went back to Two.
In World War II games have we had?
Oh, too many. Yeah, no doubt. It's boring, but like we need.
They have done future. They have done future stuff. Battlefield.
Fabricate a different setting.
What was
Spend
it?
more than 20 minutes.
21 something, wasn't it, Matt? It was PC only, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was cool.
Stuff. It was good.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind that. But then you got Titanfall. But then Titanfall's not big scale. I've never played Titanfall, to be fair. I would like to, actually.
Really good.
He is really good. But just spend a bit more than 20 minutes Googling what sort of setting you want for your game. Like, just invent a story, a setting, not just go, Europe,
hard,
1942.
That's hard, though.
We pay them big bucks for that.
I mean, what do you do? The Korean War? Oh,
no!
Fun times.
The Cold War.
Cold War. Oh, they just did that. Call of Duty Cold War just came out last year. That wasn't very good.
Oh, yeah.
You're just ignoring my point
completely. What is your point, then? Just a fantastical...
You're just bored of it. It's just too much.
Don't just rely on realism and real-world stuff. Have a fictional nation fighting another one, because then there's no discrimination.
What is it? Oh, I see. You're talking about Fallujah.
Story. No. I'm talking about Battlefield as well. You don't need them going back to World War II again. You don't need them shooting a random country in the Middle East again.
What else do you do? Napoleonic Wars with single-shot muskets? That'll be dull. I mean, you don't want that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Am I making any sense here?
That's quite good.
I'm trying to work out what you're saying.
No, I know.
Just fictionalising the setting doesn't make it any more fun. It just means you've got a different setting.
I don't think Rob means fictionalising. I just think he just thinks World War II's a low-hanging fruit and stop trying to grab it.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree. What Rob is saying is we need a new war. So we need a new war. So let's have a new war. Where can we have a new war?
Have you ever read the Redwall books by Brian Jacques, where they're all beavers?
Love them.
So why don't we have a Battlefield game where everyone were badgers and mice?
Yeah.
I mean, the furries will love it, but everybody else would think it's shit.
Would they be furriest?
Then you'll have the same problem. You'll have everyone waiting on the spawn point for the eagle to spawn, and some twat gets on the eagle and then just flies off and
I tell you, saying that, Matt, though, that's better than the way they handled it in Battlefront, where the vehicles aren't even on the map, and you just pick it from like the hero selection screen.
That's a good point.
That was in Star Wars. That bugs me so much that they did that. I understand why, but I really hope they don't go down that direction again, because they could. It's the same developer, so let's hope they don't do that.
Doing another Battlefront game because people hated it because they were idiots.
That's a good question. How about Battlefront game, but it's already a franchise like Star Wars? What would you want to see on that?
So like a large scale, but not Star. God, what could you do? Large scale conflict, sci-fi, fantasy. What could you do? Any ideas?
Avatar, that could be quite cool.
Oh, silly blue people. Yeah.
Then you got really two diverse factions.
Yeah,
They tried
okay.
that with the movie tie-in game, which was actually not bad.
You played that? Okay.
I did.
Wow.
And you complain at me for not playing a wide variety of video games.
I'm surprised anybody played that game, but okay.
I think it was like me and like 4 other people.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I can't think of any settings now. I'm completely blanking. It needs to be large scale. Like, so obviously Star Trek doesn't work. Battlestar Galactica
Lord of the
doesn't
Rings?
work. Lord of the Rings, but haven't given any projectile weaponry though.
Crossbows,
melee,
arrows,
Battlefield
chivalry?
melee. Yeah, but it's not Battlefield, is it?
think,
You want guns.
that's true.
You want projectiles.
Yeah. I think an LOTR game would be much better if it was built for close quarters combat and that sort of setting rather than shooting.
I feel like I'm going to think of 10 things that work for this after the podcast and be like, damn it. Oh, yeah.
An hour after this is finished, you'll go, shit, that setting. And yeah.
Should I do the next news story though? Because we've been on this one a while.
Yeah, sorry.
We need to make sure we get our weekly fix of news here.
So guys,
man.
just so you know, like CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk news segment. Sorry, Cam, you're missing out again on this one. But yeah, the refunds really didn't like phase them in the slightest. So they had 30,000 refunds out of 13.7 million copies sold. Is what they had to process. So basically, it would have barely even registered financially to them. This is what we've talked about this. I think did we talk about this last week or the week before? But basically, many people, due to what GOG has shown them and what CD Projekt Red have shown them over the years, have just held on to this game, even though they had refund options were made available to them. They've just declined them. They were like, no, we know you're going to make good. We know you're going to make good. So we're not going to bother.
No. I query that logic. They'll fix it. I'll just chuck it on the pile. That's
that's what I just said. I know you're going to make goods. You just made it in a cynical tone.
Faith. And they'll fix it fuck it, I'll come back to it.
I think it's
different.
Well, no, it's the same thing financially,
result.
but
financially it's the same, but from a viewpoint, very different.
Yeah, it's from the cynical, have never played any of their games point of view, Rob's, to the Ben who has played all their games point of view, which is probably much more accurate to many of the people that have bought the game. I believe there's going to be a lot of faith aimed at CG Projekt Red because of what they've done in previous games. They've shown that they do fix them, that they will make the games good in the end. That's not right, but I did it. I bought the game. I have it. I'm waiting. I'm one of those people. Is
it fixed now?
No, not even close.
No.
I mean, I just the big game. I was like, no, I'll wait.
Smart.
And I did.
You will be waiting a while.
No, it is not fixed. It cost them approximately $2.7 million, the refund process and refunding of those 30,000 games and everything else around that. But it's tiny. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny drop in the bucket of the hundreds of millions they've made already off this game. And this game that is still not even available on PlayStation digitally, which is mind-blowing to me. Everybody who hasn't forgotten about it, except us, it would seem.
The most concerning thing for me is the fact the next game is going to be worse. Because they've got away with this time, and nobody's given a shit because everyone has this fanatical hope, apparently.
Do you know what?
But it'll be worse.
It's the opposite of the Scooby-Doo saying. I would have gotten away for it if it weren't for those pesky kids. Except in this situation, all the pesky kids did shout about it, and they did get their refunds, and they still got away with it. So, I mean, it's like, if anything,
exactly.
I'm really curious, is it going to impact future interest in their products? Possibly, maybe. The people like us and stuff will shout about that and try and remind people, and the Eurogamers and the IGNs of the world will still talk about it, but will it really impact those pre-orders and those sales? I'm very curious to see. I'm not sure it will.
as soon as that comes around, especially when we've got season 2 of The Witcher on Netflix this year, when that next Witcher game comes around, people will be running to get their pre-order copies because they will not have left.
And the justification, it's different. It's The Witcher. It's not Cyberpunk. It's not first person. It's different. This one will be all right. This one won't have problems. This one will be different. This is going to be great. So yeah, that's how people will convince themselves. But we believe in optimism here and having faith in developers, and they didn't want to make a broken game. They tried to make a good game. I believe that, but it just came out too soon. Like, they shouldn't have released it when they did. It should have been another 6 months or a year. But the higher ups were like, we need the money now, please, thank you.
That's it. Again, they're a business. It was blatant that they were behind. Blatant that they knew that it was broken because they kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. I don't know. I'm with you. I would rather a developer go, boys and girls, I know you really want this, but it's really broken. Can you give us about another 6 weeks and we promise it will be ready or whatever? Yeah. I mean, the similar story is like No Man's Sky, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they made good. They've done it. They made the game. So
I love that Sean Murray for No Man's Sky recently missed awards. He was owed at an awards ceremony because he didn't think he was going to win anything. So he and his team went out for dinner halfway through the awards. And then he came up and was like, shit, they're not here. They left because they thought they weren't going to win.
That was at the Game Awards, wasn't it? For best ongoing game. Because I think, wasn't it a year or... wasn't the newest one. It was the year before where it was like... because Fortnite was on that list. Now Fortnite's going to win that. We're never going to win that. So I think they weren't there. Yeah, I love that.
They decided to leave early. And it's like, they just went, I'd love it so much.
Yeah, it's funny. Right, to the final news story here. That's going to be handled by Rob. Go for it, Rob.
Right. So... Destiny 2 in the next season, which I think starts at the beginning of next month, or on the first Tuesdays of next month, is introducing a long-held feature called transmog, which many people probably know as transmogrification for armor pieces in MMOs and that sort of thing, where you take the appearance of one armor set and distill it down so you wear it as essentially an ornament over a better statted armor piece, something like that. So after years of Destiny, this is finally arriving next season, and Bungie decided to go full Bungie on it and made it as complicated as possible. You have to earn a currency to buy bounties to earn another currency, to trade it in for another currency to be able to convert your armor into an ornament. That's 3 currencies.
The Matt looks like he's doing the math in his head there.
Yes.
Wait. So you have to get a currency.
So you defeat enemies to earn Synth Strand, because everything needs a weird-ass name. You spend Synth Strand on bounties to earn Synth Cord.
Everybody, put your fingers up. Yeah. Synth Cord.
And then you
Isn't a bounty then a quest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kill 30 enemies with a assault rifle.
You get Synth Strand, and then you buy a bounty, and then you have to go and do that bounty to gain something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
You convert the synth cord at a place called the Loom in the tower, the social space, into synth weave, and then you can use synth weave to convert an unlocked armor appearance from your collections to a universal armor ornament. The thing is, that's the bit the community are fine with.
This is the bit where the community have just gone.
Yes,
Destiny.
It's creating a gameplay loop. It's creating so you can't just go, bam, day one, everything. So I get the logic with that one. They want some level of complexity.
Is it really called the Loom?
Yes, it's the Loom.
But why make it complex?
Because they want some sort of slow mechanism, because the people who know life this game will have everything day one. And they want to avoid that. So instead, they're adding it as an optional microtransaction too.
So don't forget to mention that.
I haven't got to the seasonal limits. You can only do this so many times. That's the bit that the community is hating. The complexity of the process, they're reasonably fine with. That it is what it is. Bungie are just being Bungie. They're just making something complicated, right? The problem is you can only get 10 ornaments per season. That's a season's about 3 months or so. So you can only get 10 of them for each of your characters.
And for Matt,
I'll just run around looking like an idiot. I don't
but
mind.
for Matt, for the sake of Matt's understanding, and for our listeners who aren't massively into Destiny, 10 sounds all right, but it's not 10, not really. It's 2, because what for a full set of armor, you use 5 different armor pieces, right?
Exactly.
So chest, helmet, legs, boots. No, legs and boots are the same, aren't they? Chest armor, legs, boots, arm. Did I miss
Class
a bit?
item.
Class item. Is that 5? Or was that 4? Chest. Oh,
Head,
gloves. I
gloves,
missed gloves.
chest.
I missed gloves. I missed gloves. So yeah. So really, it's 2 per 3 months
Exactly.
that you get for free.
As a special thank you for this feature coming, it's doubled in the first season.
Thank you. Special
So you
thank
can get
you.
20 of these ornaments that you have to grind excessively for, and then it's 10 thereafter. Alternatively, you can spend real-world money on more synthweave from Eververse, which means you can get more. The community are furious.
Can we read some of these? I just want to read some of these headlines. So, Destiny 2's complicated new transmog system sounds like a parody. So says Eurogamer. Destiny 2's new transmog system is incredibly confusing and involves grinding bounties for some reason. So says PC Gamer. Destiny let you customize your armor using 4 easy steps and 3 new currencies. I like how that's written from Vice there, because it's just dripping in sarcasm.
Sarcasm,
It's great, yeah. And then Destiny 2's fans already hate Bungie's new armor transmog system. That's from Polygon.
The thing is,
it's great. Nobody likes this.
each season introduces at least 3 different armor sets.
Wait.
Yeah, you seeing an issue with math there?
Isn't this a first-person shooter?
Yes.
yeah.
So you don't see your armor set?
But other people do.
Only when you're in third person. Oh, Ben's massively into the fashion wars. It's a nightmare.
I am always wearing the latest clothes, mate, in Destiny. Always.
But yeah, essentially, yeah, it's a first-person shooter game. You don't see your Guardian very often. You see their hand. So as long as the gloves are on point, no one gives a shit.
You don't care about your cosmetics, Rob, to be fair, but I do, and there's a lot of people that do, and I think we were all really excited about this system, and it's fucking ridiculous.
I have some scary stats here for you.
Right.
This is courtesy of some stats that a YouTuber called Kakis, Rick Kakis, has put in one of his YouTube videos talking about this. He's a very high upstanding member of the Destiny community. Here are the stat breakdown on how long it will take Guardians to 100% the new Destiny 2 transmog system if they want everything, so all the different armor pieces for all the different classes to unlock and have complete flexibility. It's 4,239 pieces of armor, of which 4,071 are legendary in rarity, so the useful stuff. It will take you 33.9 years at the current rate of drops, or $6,000 to $12,000 in silver.
Wow.
Which is their microtransaction currency. It is a nightmare. I cannot see Bungie sticking with this. I think they're gonna change their mind on it somehow.
They're going to have to before release, because if you are one of those people that go, oh, you know what, I like this set of armor, pay real money for it, and then they change it, you will be pretty upset.
Nails. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen precedent this year. They had something called weapon sunsetting, where they were going to make weapons obsolete, basically, and they got rid of that because of the negative feedback. So, yeah, maybe we'll see it for this. Fingers crossed.
I think they'll just stick with this. It's something. If someone's that bothered about it, like Ben, and wants to wear the latest stuff, just stay in the game and just grind stuff. Yeah. Play more Destiny. That's all it is.
Well, that's the thing. You could just grind the drop for the armor to get what you want out of it, the stats you want out of it. So it's not like it's gonna make it impossible to have, you know, the looks you want and stuff. But it just feels so backwards, doesn't it? It's just like they've been making all these positive steps recently, Rob, and then this comes out and you're like, oh god, this is such a 2 years ago Bungie decision. Yeah, like it just feels really stupid.
The process is complicated enough. You don't need to put an artificial extra level of obstacle in the way when people have been after this for so long. You know, just don't have a limit.
Yeah,
the process is long enough.
Let people spend money. Yeah, let people spend money if they want to shortcut the process, but don't limit the legitimate process.
Yeah,
because that's just seems incredibly money grabbing. Like it just says, right, you're going to get to this point and then you have to spend. And it's just like that, and you'll get there pretty quick, probably, for the people that know life it. And it's like that's really bullshit. That's
no
bullshit.
life it.
So yeah, I like that term. I'd not heard it before Rob said it, but it's actually
I tend to do
way of
that
doing it.
most Destiny seasons for a good couple of weeks. So
Yeah, I sunk about 20 hours into Destiny 1 and then realised that, I'm going to no-life this, so I canned it quick.
Oh, it's so good, man. We'd love to have you.
You should have let the addiction take hold, Matt.
It's going to be crossplay very soon, so PlayStation
Yeah.
people and Xbox people will be able to play together. So you should,
You
come
just,
back.
okay, main story aside, you just don't get to see those credits, man, and that's what I crave in a video game.
That's true.
It's
my only one that might like my forever game is Destiny. That I'll always go back to Destiny. But yeah, right. That brings us to the lengthy segment of the news. There, we're already at about an hour and 3/4 already. So before we've even talked about the games we've been playing, so Matt, why don't you lead us into some of the games you've been playing and stuff, and we'll see how this bit goes.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So on the list is Subnautica. So I've been diving into that most evenings, and really, really enjoying it. It's a thoroughly good game. PlayStation did a good campaign, like a stay-at-home campaign to stop people going out, and they gave you a bunch of free games that you can download, and Subnautica was one of them. But I've had my eye on it for ages. What I like about it is an open-world crafting game. We've all seen those before, but there is a story in there. And it's the way they do the stories. You have to go and find it. There's like PDA devices, recordings of various events that have happened in the world. So if you pay close attention to that, you can actually see the story unfold. But what I like about it, there's a big emphasis on exploration. It's all underwater, 90% of it's underwater. So you have to explore, you have to dive deep. And I think, excuse the pun, but I'm scratching the surface on it. That was totally intentional. I didn't mean to.
It's more puns. More puns. All the puns.
No, I was playing it every night. It was my game. Son's now involved. Can't play it without him, so it has slowed down my progress with it. But you build a little base and you can explore around, and you get to build some cool machines that you can then further explore the ocean. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's just a good open world crafting game.
I watched my wife play quite a bit, but she absolutely loves this game. Like to the point where she's got like artwork on the wall in her office and stuff from it, and. Yeah, I remember like playing it myself and not like getting that far, but then I'd see her play it and then see she's got this little submarine, and I'd come back and they'd be like, oh hold on, we're now in a much bigger submarine, and then hold on, what the hell is that thing she's driving around? That is so cool. I definitely want. And the only downside is I wish it was co-op. Like, I wish you could play this with friends, because
that could be cool.
That would have been so much fun to build like an underwater base together and like go off exploring in submarines and shit. And it's like, yeah, when the progress, it's not actually like the biggest game, but I think it's one of those things there. If you want to just poodle around and spend some time and not feel super pressured, but there is enough risk and stuff in there. You can really play it at your own pace, can't you? So she keeps wanting us to do it as a Game Pass club game, because she really wants us to like spend some time with it and then discuss it on the show. But yeah, it keeps coming up, and I know Cameron was watching the live podcast earlier, and he was talking about it as well, and how he's got a little boy as well who loves watching all the bright fish and the colours.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful to look at.
Kids love watching it. What I also like about it, if you want to craft something, it's not like you need 50 wood and 100 stone. It's like a couple of bits of titanium, a couple of bits of iron, that'll build it. So you don't need to go and grind out materials long enough. You just need to know where to get them, and that's where the exploration comes into it.
Yeah, it does. It always looks really cool. And the sequel, Below Zero, is getting full release on Steam very soon. I think that's next month, and coming to Xbox next month as well. So that's quite exciting, because that's got like a frozen biome. And I watched the launch trailer for it, and it's really funny. It's a really funny launch trailer where there's like feckless explorer getting chased around by monsters everywhere. It looks really stupid. But it's a cool game, and really cool sort of universe, and look forward to seeing what they do next, actually. So that'd be cool. Right, I'll quickly touch on a couple of. I've been playing. I got back into Destiny 2 for the Guardian games, and to get the new armor set from Eververse, because I'm a little fashion whore for Destiny. I am a shill. I am the problem, and I know that I am the problem. But also playing loads of Civ 6 again. Like, now that I've got the good rig and I've got it all on Ultra, and I'm able to play it, and do something else on the other screen, and just just break it. Just break that game.
I love Civ.
I'm sending tanks in against like cavalry right now in my expansionist desires. Oh, I just F up everyone in that game. So I've already got the cultural victory because that's easy. I always find it super easy to get the cultural victory in that game and to spec in that way. And now I just continue the game and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take over the world. I'm gonna
I
have
just want to murder
total
everyone.
100% domination of the planet. And as soon as I get nukes, I drop bombs, baby. I just start dropping bombs. I'm that guy.
Today I've learned never to play Civs with Ben.
I am really aggressive in civilization games.
I would like to play it. I've been playing Civ the last 12 months as well. And I'll give you a game, mate.
You probably whip my ass. I only play against a computer. So there's easy ways of gaming the computer.
I play... There's me and another guy. We play it with 4 AI. I don't know what difficulty. It's like a couple up from the
normal
middle difficulty, and I've managed to claim a couple of science victories. So quite happy with that.
Oh, you guys down the tech route? Yeah, I always find it's culture because it's super easy to expand and use the great works to influence other civilizations and like end up you just get culture victory without really trying.
Do you have Gathering Storm and the other one? I can't remember.
I've got the season pass as well. Yeah, so I've got all that.
Okay.
All the
I haven't played it
hustles.
since its latest release. Not the latest release. They've just done another one. I haven't played it since they got more involvement around the barbarian camps.
Yeah, so they've actually just finished the updates. Like the last season pass update, which is going to be the last update for the game. They've said like proper update has just come out, so it's finally like finished, and it's the most support I think any Civ's ever got. Like when it comes to post-release, like they did all the DLCs and then they did the season pass, and they've really run with it. I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with a Civ 7 and what that will be, because I feel like they've kind of got as far as they can get with Civ, sort of as it is.
I was going to ask you when's Civ 7 going to arrive.
It can't be like a million years off. It probably a couple of years, maybe, or 12, maybe only a year. I'm just really.
There's a bit of noise around a new game that's like Civ, isn't it?
Humankind. Made by Amplitude, right? Which is the other big developer in this space. So they're the guys that have put out like I think the Endless games. And stuff like that. So they're really, really good, and I'm really curious to play that as well. And I've also been playing Old World, which is another game of the Civ variety. Basically, I believe both of those studios have Civ veterans on the teams, so that they're really bringing that heritage. But yeah, Humankind or Mankind, I can't remember what it's called. Is it Humankind? I think it is.
Can't remember.
That's just been delayed, sadly, to late summer because it was originally coming out next month. But yeah, I will absolutely give that a go. I am really curious because it's the bit with Civ that always breaks the immersion for me is the fact that your rule will last forever, that you don't have a lot of like organic development around in your Civ. You always go down the same kind of path, and I guess that's what's nice and familiar about it. It actually plays a lot more like a board game than a video game in many ways, and I think these new ones, Old World and Humankind, look like they're going to try and bring in some of that paradox vibe where it's the in-depth systems at play in 4X, but bring it to that kind of turn-based hex gameplay. So you're going to have lineage, you're going to have in Humankind or Mankind, sorry, or whatever it's called, sorry, I believe your Civ won't be the Egyptians. It will start at one place and then develop and grow and change over time. And I'm really excited to see what that will mean for the gameplay and how immersive and how much variety that will bring. Because Civ can get a bit, you're just always the same, isn't it? It's basically the same game since Civ 1, Civ 6. And I'm excited to see what comes out of that genre, because it is one I always go back to, one I've played since I was a little kid, so I absolutely love it. So put lots of time into that. And I've also been trying the Xcloud beta that's finally come out, Rob, on iOS via a browser interface, and you can also play it on PC now as well, so just in a browser window. And that's working pretty well, I have to say. Looks quite good. I might continue to explore that. You might well have got an invite as well. If you were an Ultimate Game Pass member, everybody's getting invites to this. So
I won't pay attention to that and probably won't take them up on it either.
It's worth checking out just because it means you can play Xbox games on a browser anywhere, which is kind of cool.
My Xbox is over there.
Yeah, but what if you're not at home?
Then I'm at work. So are you advocating that at work I should be playing Xbox?
On your lunch break on your phone? It's pretty cool. You can do that.
On my lunch break.
How does it work? Is it using your Xbox as the server?
No, it uses
a virtual machine.
An Xbox somewhere else as the server, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
they've got racks of them supposedly, like Xbox One S's. I think they are all just racked up. They're going to upgrade them to Series X's. I think they've said at some point, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It works well considering. What else is? What have you been playing, Rob?
I have been dabbling with Engineer's Life 2, which is a new modded Minecraft mod pack that came out relatively recently, and I've been enjoying it. It's Minecraft, lots of industrial options, lots of progression, but it's all gated through quests. So it guides you through what you need to make, invent, create, rather than just going, here's a world, goth. You know, there's a bit of like, okay, you need to have these flint weapons because then that enables you to do this, and then you can get this, which opens like this food mod pack, which you can then start growing things and creating different dishes, and you can make this and so on. It guides you through it, and the quests are explained and everything. It's had a real huge amount of work put into it. I'm having great fun. So I've just been progressing with that. I've dabbled in League of Legends a little bit with some friends from work.
Said friends are trying to invite me into this black hole of sadness.
Sign me up. MOBA with mates. Can't beat it.
You're down with that as well?
Oh, you're going to regret that.
I might mean I'm not needed, so I might have an out there. So that's all right. I'll take that out. Because yeah, everything about it scares me.
Why?
Actually, League and Dota, to me, HOTS just blew it out of the water. Last hit in and all that stuff, no thanks.
I think that's the quickest turnaround. Sign me up, MOBA with no, I'm all right.
Yeah, I was like, have I played League? And I was like, yes, I have, and it had the exact same problems I had with Dota.
I very much dabbled and haven't. It's free, and it's just been fun being able to spend some time with some friends playing a game. That's very much what I've been doing from it.
Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying it?
I did enjoy it a bit when I was playing with them, yeah.
Okay.
It was good fun.
Would you play it without friends?
Probably not. But put it this way, since I was playing with them, I have not gone back on it.
Yeah.
Engineer's Life is very much my focus at the moment. That's where I want to spend more time, because I've got a live multiplayer server. So people can join that. So I'm paying a company called Serverminer for that. So it's very much I want to progress with that. That's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. After we are done with our recording and our stream, I'll be continuing.
I saw something on your list, Matt, and I was like, I know what that is, and it's like I realised finally what it was, which is Deponia. I've had that in my library for countless years. Like I feel like it's always been there, and I've never played it. Is it good?
Yeah. So it's for those who don't know, Deponia is a point and click game, and I'm playing. It's important for me to say that I'm playing what they call the complete journey. So there's 4 Deponia games, I believe. I think they released 3 quite close to each other. And then they created the complete journey where they kind of made all 3 into one big game. But what's really cool about this is each screen in a point and click, if you kind of call them screens, when you go to a new area, a little icon appears and it's a director's commentary. So you can click on it and the game maker does a little voiceover and talks about the area, what went into the area, why it went in, what maybe didn't make it, the artists and all. So we talk, and it's quite funny the way he talks about it. So I've kind of felt quite connected to the game because he keeps talking about reoccurring themes about mini games and puzzles and all this kind of stuff, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So I've last night finished part 1, so I've completed Deponia, the very first game. And did start a little bit of Deponia 2. So I've crossed it off the list. So I'll probably park it for a bit now and then pick up the second game which is all part of the complete journey. A few months down the line, but yeah, really enjoying it. It's not everyone's cup of tea though. Depends what kind of point and click games you like, because because the puzzles, they're not. Some of them don't make sense. Now, I pride myself in not using guides in point and click games. Never used one yet, and I've completed quite a few. But this one, there's been a few times where I've just gone, I know I need to do something with this thing. So I just get every component of my inventory and try and figure it out.
Yeah,
and then it happens and you think, that doesn't really make much sense.
Is there logic there?
Oh, the toothpick.
No.
The toothpick combined with the sprocket has created a machine gun. Oh,
yeah.
Why would I not have realised that that's how that would have worked?
So I've had very few moments, not many, where that's happened, and I've almost gone, I need to just get on a guide and just figure out how to do this bit, but I've held fast. I haven't done that yet.
When you send an email to the developer, what the actual F? Can you explain the logic there, please?
Yeah, I've had a few of those. I'm like, what?
What size toothpicks do you use that go into sprockets?
Yeah, but other than that, I've enjoyed it. It's not reinventing the wheel for the genre.
Most important thing is it well written? Is it funny? Is it got an engaging universe?
Yes,
that's what gets you through them, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Again, basic storyline, but well done. Is it funny? Yeah, some bits have made me laugh. What was the last one?
Engaging universe, engaging setting.
Engaging universe. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's it. That's what you need for point and click. That's what will always get you through it, even if the mechanics are a bit janky. Yeah, that's what the most important bits. That's why Ron Gilbert was the king. Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, any of those LucasArts ones. Oh.
Have you gone back and played Grim Fandango since you first played it?
I've got the Game Pass has got all the remastered ones of those, and I keep meaning to go back and give it a go. Yeah.
So I did the remaster, remembering I loved it, and actually it doesn't hold up well for me.
Oh really?
Grim Fandango. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
Day of the Tentacle does. I absolutely loved that.
That's so
brilliant
good.
Game. So good.
So good. I think that brings us roughly to the end of this mammoth edition of the Experience Kills podcast. We're running over 2 hours now. I don't think it's been a while since we've done one of them. But I think we had a good reason introducing everybody to Matt and having him on for the first time. Have you enjoyed yourself, Matt? Have you enjoyed this episode?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a while since I've managed to nerd out about video games out into the internet. I did have my own podcast many, many years ago. I have enjoyed it.
Do you think you might return?
On your show, yeah, definitely.
Well, on yours, probably not. But if there was another one going, more likely.
I thought you meant return as in, would I have my own podcast again? Definitely not.
It's a lot of work.
It's just well,
this is why Ben does it.
It's a lot of work, and also you don't get to play the games that you fall in love with because you have to go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll be happy to if you'd have me. The running times probably like Matt needs to talk less. So.
Well, it was the first time I think it was like we needed to let Matt explain about Matt. Like that's so with the hopes of
get to know you,
and hope to have you back on.
I liked the process because actually I sat back and thought, wow, video games really mean a lot to me.
Yeah,
like I've been playing them for 25 years, probably. And there's not once where I've felt down, played a game, and went, I now feel worse. It's never happened in my life.
Blimey, I've been playing games for 15 years. Longer, actually. 16, 17, maybe. Blimey.
I'm similar to Matt. Yeah, probably maybe about the same. Yeah. About 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christ.
So it's a healthy obsession.
I think like any obsession, as long as you can moderate it and step back a bit and also
Fuck it.
and it is nice. It is nice, like Matt said, to deep dive into it and to really think about stuff. And in that vein, I'm going to promote myself a little bit here. I actually wrote something for the website for the first time, basically since we created the website. Almost over a year later, I wrote a blog entry, and 2,000 words, expanding on some of my thoughts and stuff around what the next year is going to look like, and maybe 2022 as well for video games with post-COVID. And I really sort of went into some of those areas because I woke up on a Sunday morning, Rob, and I was like, I've got this stuff in my head, and I just needed to kind of excise it. And it was a nice outlet for that, and just to put it into words and to help structure it a little bit. But I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I think it was pretty decent. Rob, you read it? You thought it was okay?
I did. It was quite interesting. Yeah, I gave it a read whilst I was waiting for some fish and chips.
I'll take quite interesting. I'll definitely take that. That's better than wow. That was a boring diatribe, Ben. But,
Wasted 20 minutes of my life. No, I'm kidding.
It wasn't too polemic, was it, Rob? Just out of interest, it wasn't too polemic.
Not too polemic, no.
Just the right amount of polemic. Good.
Yeah, just to hit the balance.
Somebody criticised us on YouTube for being polemic, Matt. So we like to bring that up occasionally because it's a good word.
I would like to think I know what that word means, but I don't.
We didn't
either. We had to look it up. We were like, wow, it's not often you have to look up. Usually when you have to look up a word on YouTube, it's because some kid definition of something has come up, which some bastardization, and it's like, no, this is just a proper word that I hadn't come across before. So it was pretty cool. So
what does it mean?
What was it, Rob?
Polemic.
Yeah, what did it mean? It was
what
like...
Did it mean?
You're
asking me now.
It's basically being opinionated but predictable.
A strong verbal or written attack on someone or something.
Oh, blimey. What were you talking about? Microtransactions.
No, we were talking about that. No, we were talking about the arsehole developer for the Harry Potter game who was a Gamergator.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we already know. The guy's argument was, we already know where you're going to go with that, so why spend 20 minutes doing it? And it's like, well, I can see where you're coming from, but my show. What are you going to do? Stop listening. And I believe he did, so that's fair enough. So, yeah, it's been...
to enjoy our veiled acknowledgements.
Yeah. Well, the guy then got, quit, so it's like, well, we don't need to talk about him anymore, so it works out. So that's been another episode of the Experience Kills podcast. You can find us in various places on social media. Me, you can find at DIYE on Twitter. Rob, you can be found at Homeless Mr. Gibbs. Matt, you don't really do that, do you? You don't do the tweets and the...
I'm not on the tweets and the Facebooks and the whatnot.
That's smart. It's smart. You can find us collectively at Experience Kills. Obviously on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the last 2+ hours of us talking in video form. I suggest, however, finding us where podcasts can be found. And pretty much every provider under the sun, be it Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, we're there. Tune in. Just keeps going. Pandora, Acast, and if you do have a provider for a podcast and you're like, I really want to be able to hear Experience Kills on there and they're not on there, let me know and I can probably make that happen for you and put that on that provider.
Hang on, so it's gone from your personal guarantee last week to a probably make it happen this week.
I will adhere to the personal guarantee. I will guarantee you that I will make us available on that provider. Okay,
I will find a way to make you rue that day. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well.
Yes, do. We are on Twitch and we are streaming and this is on Twitch and live and things, and follow us now. I keep forgetting that because it's new. Yeah. Put us on Twitch as well. What were you going to say, Matt?
I was going to say, I want someone like Morgan Freeman to show up at my house and reiterate the podcast. Can you do that?
I mean...
It was a personal guarantee. Come on, Ben.
What? That Morgan Freeman would read the podcast?
That's the form that I want Experience Kills on.
We would email Morgan Freeman a transcription of the podcast.
I don't care how you do it.
And then he would come round your house and perform it as a dramatic reading. Is that? I'm just
seconded.
I'm trying to get
with a good voice.
I'm just trying to get you just saying I haven't got a good voice.
No, but I want someone
Morgan Freeman's voice is better.
But I want it as a one-man show, so I want them to go. And Ben said blah blah blah, and Rob countered with this. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Tell me more.
That sounds cool. Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do. Leave it with me, Matt. Well, I'm not going to go that far, but do leave it with me. Yeah, and see what we can make that happen for you. Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I'd value you. Thank you very much for joining us, Matt. It's been awesome having you. And we do hope you'll come back soon. And I hope everybody's enjoyed this episode with our special guest. Richard will be back next week. We've got a Game Pass Club in which we were looking at... I do remember. What was it? Something Boy, wasn't it? Beginning with an N.
Super Meat Boy?
No, Narita Boy.
Yes, something like that. Thank you for reminding me, because I completely remembered as well.
Yeah, I knew it was. I know it. I've downloaded it on the Xbox and on PC, but I haven't played it either. So I want to say it's Narita Boy, Narota Boy. It's like an 80s. It looked pretty good, man, actually. 80s sort of like era-inspired, side-scrolly, roguelike slasher melee thing. Looked quite. Has a really interesting kind of like visual style to it.
You had me as soon as you said roguelike. I'm like, yeah.
I think it is. Anyway. But yeah, by the way, Matt, check out Game Pass. It's on PC as well. We do promote the hell out of that. I wish they'd start sending us free codes. But,
Too much choice. No.
When you start acting Phil Spencer in our podcast, that's when we'll start getting
Phil,
free stuff.
Free Game Pass sub would be great. Cheers, mate. Okay. Right. Fucking. Let's go. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.